We believe we know more than we do, especially around the topics we know the least about. We project our beliefs onto other people. So I believe things about the world. Let's say I see Curtis in front of me. I don't really know what he believes about some things. So I just make the assumption that he believes about things the same way I do, because I have no other information to go about. So I just fill it in for him. We imagine that the things we're really familiar with are actually better. We put meaning into everything we see without any good reason. So this is, our brain has to do this all the time, but like, you've never thought about this before, but like, well, actually, maybe this has happened to you before. Have you ever walked up to somebody who from behind looked a lot like a friend of yours, and then it turned out not to be your friend? That's a very clear visual example of this. Your brain saw their hair or a hat or something they wore, and it was really similar to a friend of yours. So it made that person your friend, and you were 100% certain it was your friend until you saw the front of their face. And you're like, oh shit, not the same person. They did a study with people in a driving simulator. In the driving simulator, they tell you specifically on the front end, there are going to be crosswalks, and so you have to watch for people walking through the crosswalks. So you don't run over them. And then there was one other thing, like you have to count the number of dogs or whatever on the side of the road. And it's like, it kind of looks like those old, really, really bad driving simulator games. How many people have played those video games before? You kind of like try to drive a car and not crash it. So it's not a great simulator, but it looks like that. So they did this study, and they realized that while you are driving and trying to count dogs and avoid pedestrians, they could make entire buildings show up and disappear in the background. They could have the entire scene, other than the crosswalk and the people and the dogs, change. Like trees would disappear, or trees would all of a sudden grow leaves, and you would have absolutely no idea that any of it happened, because you were looking for dogs and for people in the crosswalk. You weren't looking at trees and buildings. Maybe in regular life, some of us literally miss information. We just don't think it's important for what we're talking about, so we don't see it happen. Oh, you can be primed to think in specific ways without really being aware that you were being manipulated. They've done studies where they put people in front of a computer, and you have to do this word completion task after this thing. But you watch a video. So you watch a video, and then you have to do a word completion task. And the word completion makes it so that you can leave words that are kind of like they're ambiguous. So the video you watch, it's literally just like a nature video. It has nothing, it's not a good or a bad video. But what they do in the middle of the video is they insert individual, like tiny little frames, 1/10 of 1 second, where like an angry face or a smiley face flashes in front of your eyes. Like that. Nobody in the experiment actually knew that a face flashed. But if they showed you an angry face and then they gave you the word completion task, you put more negative tone words in the word completion. If they gave you a smiling face, you made more positive attributions. Another piece that is insane, maybe this will help you all in business in the rest of your life. If you want somebody to be more welcoming and open to a proposal you're about to make, you know what you need to give them beforehand, other than a gift? Being warm, holding something warm in your hand makes you more open and warm. These are obviously ways in which we distort reality. We do it so much, we're not aware of it happening. And so what I wanted to kind of talk about today that I think will be cool for us, I want to talk about ways in which any of us feel stuck. And then our whole point will be, can we see a way, can we find a way to change the perspective from I'm stuck because reality is different to I'm stuck because I think this is what's real?